This is not MAGA. There is nothing MAGA about any of this. This is not America first. None of this is putting Americans first. Every promise has been broken. There are no real victories. Trump has not delivered. It has been one disappointment after another, and that is because of corruption. That is because the Trump regime, just like every other regime, has been corrupted by money. That's the bottom line. You have been disappointed. You fell for it again. You believed them when they made a promise, which they never intended to keep. They said things to you to get your vote, knowing full well that once they got it, they were going to work for the donors. That's who pays for the cabinet appointments and the ambassadorships. That's who captures the bureaucracy. And that is why the system is sclerotic. That is why the system is slow and broken and unanswerable to the people and not even thinking about the people. And you're almost better off with Biden than with this. This is just like criminal stuff.
I think you're going to infiltrate and convince us that this is the same party while we get gaslit about everything that's happening. Like I said, you lost the party. MAGA got fractured, not when Tucker Carlson interviewed Nick Fuentes, but when Donald Trump looked at us in our faces and said, Epstein who? That's when it was game over. Because Israel first is a cancer cell. It is a cancer cell, left or right, to everything and everyone that wants to play around with it. It is a radical psychosis that has manifested itself within both parties. And it is so radical that, in case you missed it, yesterday, they started attacking Brett Cooper. Brett Cooper, 23-year-old, bubbly Brett Cooper. She makes the majority of her videos dedicated to pop culture. Yes, she covers things that are, I would say, mainstream politics, nothing too daring, never speaks about Israel. And she did her part, by the way. The Zionists wanted her to do her part and encouraged New Yorkers to get out and vote against Mamdani. But it's not enough, of course, because this is a radical ideology. You give them 100%. You even say one critique, and they don't want to break bread with you. They want to destroy you. And that's what they want to do to Brett Cooper.
Prices have not come down at all.
The job market is
market is still extremely difficult.
Right.
Wages have not gone up. Health insurance premiums are going to go up. Car insurance goes up every year. People's homeowners insurance goes up. Rent is going up. Young people have no hope of buying a home. And then when they try to buy a home, they end up, like I said, they end up competing with like Blackstone or somebody else.
The average home buyer now is 38 years old. It just came out.
Right.
The average home buyer, 38.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it? Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
I don't know what happened to Marjorie. She's a nice woman, but I don't know what happened. She's lost her way, I think. But I have to view the presidency as a worldwide situation, not locally. I mean, we could have a world that's on fire where wars come to our shores very easily if you had a bad president. We had a horrible president, and we ended up with Russia, Ukraine, and we ended up with other disasters, too. Don't forget, I put out 8 wars, 9 to come. I think I'll get the other one taken care of, but I put out 8 wars. And look at the damage that Russia, Ukraine has done to us as a country. I mean, we spent $350 billion. We're not spending any money anymore. Now they pay us through NATO. You know, I got NATO to go from 2% to 5%. Well, that's very important. When you're president, you really sort of have to watch over the world because you're going to be dragged into it. Otherwise, you're going to be dragged into a world war. I think if I weren't president, first of all, that war would have never happened if I was president. And if I weren't president, that war could have led to World War III. It won't. It's not going to anymore. But when I first got in, I said, wow, this situation could lead to World War III. And I got NATO together. I got everybody together. But with all of that, I passed a great, big, beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of an act going, but I'm surprised at her. But when somebody like Marjorie goes over and starts making statements like that, it shows she doesn't know. I don't devote a lot of my time.
When a hero stumbles, cowards rejoice. Nothing feels better to a coward than to watch a brave guy fall. Dave Chappelle said that. People don't abandon people they love. They abandon people they were using. And the author of that is unknown. I'm on the internet just like you. I see all the criticisms. I see all the, oh goodness, Trump has turned on MAGA and why don't they release the Epstein files? And, every single criticism that can be leveled against a man who, in my opinion, took us from the brink of destruction. What I know is that women's rights to not have men dressed as women taking over their sport has been protected. What I know is many of the freedoms we enjoyed as Americans being salvaged, saved from an unthinking mob drunk off of virtue signaling and victimhood. They were preserved by someone who everyone cheered and begged to fight for them. In my opinion, there's nothing worse than to fight for a group of people and then watch after the battle is seemingly won, than to watch those people make you the new enemy, turn on you, and act as if you've never done a single thing for them. Now, I'm not a hero worshiper. I'm not someone who's going to lift somebody up into a deified position, a godlike position. That's just not me. I don't do that. But what I understand is something that my grandfather used to tell me almost every day. If he ever caught me being unappreciative, if he ever caught me not displaying a proper amount of gratitude for someone who's done something for me, he would always say, give respect where respect is due. I listened to someone like Nick Fuentes criticize Donald Trump. I listened to someone like Nick Fuentes say, hey, this isn't MAGA. Hey, this isn't America first. Hey, this isn't what we, quote unquote, voted for. And I watch as people who vehemently oppose Nick Fuentes, not even a week ago, all of a sudden they're parroting Nick Fuentes' message. Now, all of a sudden, Nick Fuentes has credibility among all the people who dismissed him as a racist. I see that when you have cowards in your midst, they will go and connect with your enemy. And now the enemy is their friend because they don't have an enemy, a legitimate enemy to do battle with. I see people who make a living on social media. Social media is about getting clicks and views. That's how you make money. Someone like Nick Fuentes has totally alienated himself from the normal part of society. And there's not a company in America that would hire him. So for him, it's social media or nothing. So it makes sense to me as a content creator who's nowhere near on the level of Nick Fuentes that he would say absolutely anything just to stir the pot and ruffle some feathers to get somebody to watch his channel. This is par for the course. Not much different from someone like Candace Owens. Candace Owens has made videos since Donald Trump's inauguration on a wide range of topics. She's not even really focused on politics anymore from what I've been watching. Now she's doing celebrity gossip and whatever it takes to keep that nice big fat 1 million views sitting in the top right-hand corner of all of her videos. What I'm telling you is when you get your information, when you do your research, my personal opinion says you must go to the source. In my opinion, you must examine a plethora of media outlets so that you can then decipher what makes sense and what does not. I watched someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who clearly has some type of personal issue with Donald Trump, seeing as how she brings up personal things when she's criticizing him. I listened to Marjorie Taylor Greene talk about the cost of a home, how young people won't ever be able to buy a house. Listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene talk about the price of food, how the price of food is high. I listened to Marjorie Taylor Greene list a column of problems, right? This is wrong. That's wrong. This is wrong. That's wrong. And I think to myself, well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, aren't you a congresswoman? And isn't it your job to fix those issues or to present bills, write bills that fix these problems in a creative way that leads to prosperity and productivity? See, to me, when I look at the criticisms of Trump, when I look at the criticisms that where people say, "Oh, MAGA is Trump's abandoning MAGA," I don't look at it as really a Trump issue. I look at it as a bunch of people who want someone to fix all of their problems for them while they rip that person apart at every chance that they get. See, the real problem, and this is the part you don't want to miss, the real problem is that MAGA, for all intents and purposes, is an army. And there's nothing more destructive than an army that has no one to fight. In the minds of too many people, the radical left, the socialist left, the blue-haired freaks, as many have called them, have been thoroughly routed. Do you know what that means? That means they've been defeated and they are on the run. Kamala Harris, for many people in the MAGA movement, was the final boss, and she lost in a landslide. The way soldiers look at things is this: we wiped the enemy out, but we're still soldiers, so we need a battle to fight. Now the battle is to keep Donald Trump beholden to MAGA, beholden to people who want no immigrants in the country, and all these other things that were promised to the people who make up MAGA. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is the nature of politics. When you are looking at what is occurring between Donald Trump and MAGA, you are seeing the natural order of things being restored. So I am not worried. What is unnatural is a political party where every single person in the party votes the same way on every single thing every single time, where the people who are followers of the party actively practice cognitive dissonance when it comes to the policies and the leadership and the illicit actions of their party leaders. I had a show the other day where I tried for the life of me to understand how a group of people who vote for a party that literally enables and protects traffickers are now so up in arms about the Epstein files, which their party had every opportunity to release between the years of 2020 and 2024, but never did. But all of a sudden, a deal breaker for these people with Trump and MAGA and the Republican Party is, they won't release the Epstein files. It's just hypocrisy. I have no issue with Marjorie Taylor Greene calling out Donald Trump. That is how we're going to keep Donald Trump accountable. I have no issue with Nick Fuentes calling out Donald Trump, because that's how we're going to keep Donald Trump accountable. I have no issue with anybody calling out Donald Trump, because that's how we're going to keep Donald Trump accountable. But I have a damn issue with a bunch of sons of bitches who saw an old man be exploited, couldn't even walk across the stage, didn't know where he was going, didn't know where he was at, was totally cognitively impaired, and all you guys sat there and act like you couldn't see it when the world was watching. But all of a sudden, oh my God, I told you Trump lied, Trump lies, Trump always lies. Well, you lie. You lie. Because we all knew Biden wasn't fit to be president, but guess what? You kept going along with the story because you just wanted your side in charge. We know that a damn man can't have a baby, but they'll sit up and say it just because that's what their side is telling them to say. And they want their side to be in charge. They can't point out the lies on their side, but we can. We can. If there's lies, there's deception. If there's dishonesty, if nothing else, I believe that's what's going on. That what's going on is proving more than ever before that MAGA is accountable and we are not beholden to any particular individual. There will be no hero worship on this side. If Trump is wrong, he's wrong as two left shoes, and we're going to call his ass out. Now, when I listened to Trump's interview with Laura Ingraham, guess what? I hear certain things that I feel most people weren't paying attention to. I heard something where Trump said, people, Americans, they need to learn. You just can't pull somebody off an unemployment line. And Ingraham does say, hey, why not? We've done it before. But now things are more complex. Now things are more competitive. Now people want to work with people who know what they're doing. They don't want to be doing on-the-job training. But now more than ever is the time where we can call for these things, these training systems to be set up so we can take Americans and put them on a program building missiles. We can take Americans and put them in these highly skilled jobs. You know why we can't? Because too many Americans, as we sat and we labored under inept leadership, too many Americans went to school and got degrees for theoretical knowledge instead of applicable knowledge. Everybody wants to be a damn sociology major, but nobody wants to go into software development. Nobody wants to go into coding or programming. We all saw this wave was coming. They were talking about programming and writing code when we were 25 years old. If you're 40, you know what you did? You wanted to sit on your ass. You wanted to work that cushy job that paid a nice big fat paycheck for you not doing much. And you got passed up by too many people in the third world. Because while you were sitting up philosophizing, while you were sitting up pontificating on bullshit, these people they didn't have two nickels to rub together, and they were absorbing like sponges any and every piece of information that could put them in a place to change the lives of their family. Now, from my research, I believe that Trump is still imposing the $100,000 per HB1 visa request for these companies, the requirement, the payment for these companies. So what I understand that to do is greatly slow down the amount of H-1B visas that are being handed out. On top of that, Donald Trump has totally eliminated illegal immigration at the southern border. It's down to almost zero. I'm not just going to look at what someone may or may not do. I'm going to look at what they've done, because what they've done is going to do more for me right now than what they may or may not do. And if I have an issue with what they're doing, I'm going to level my complaint. That's the question. That's the issue. Why aren't you getting actively involved? Why aren't you hitting up your representative? Why aren't you voicing your opinion on the internet, being a part of these panels, saying what you think, going to these council meetings and everything, all these types of things that have been set up for you so you can voice your distrust, or your dissatisfaction with what is being proposed. Everybody wants to be a social justice warrior, but nobody wants to do what it takes to keep this country at the top. Do you notice you don't hear Indians saying nothing about nothing? They couldn't care less. They got their H-1B, they HB1, what is it, H-1B? H-1B visa or HB1, I mix it up. They got their visa to work and they working. They not out in the street fighting with the police because they then arrested a bunch of illegal immigrants. Okay? They not out in the street trying to prank somebody on social media. They get into the bag. Last one of us can get to the bag, but we have to want to. You fought for the opportunity to try. You fought for the opportunity to try. And now that that opportunity has been presented to you, you want to do everything but try. No, I'm not a part of that. Now you questioning what's going on in your leadership. You speaking out against some things that you don't like about what your president has said. That's your right as an American. That's what it means to be free. But when you are bestowed with freedom, you have signed an unwritten contract that says that with the freedom that you have been given, you will try. You will try your damnedest to the day you die to go from having nothing to having something. I've been watching some different YouTube channels, just trying to peruse the internet, walking about, as they would say. And there's a YouTube channel, I don't even remember the name of it, but this guy said, if you ain't dead, you ain't done. He said, if you ain't dead, you ain't done. But I see a lot of people who look like they're getting tired and they're ready to be done. I see a lot of people who may have never really been about this in the first place. So now they're getting close to what they think is the finish line and they're starting to slow down. Like the quote from the unknown author said, you don't abandon the people you love. You abandon the people you were using. And that's exactly what we're dealing with right now. Candace Owens made millions off of Donald Trump. Nick Fuentes made millions off of Donald Trump and MAGA. Marjorie Taylor Greene made millions off of Donald Trump and MAGA. And all of a sudden, this quick, 10 months go by, I don't get my way, I'm done with him. Well, you wasn't really about MAGA. You were really just about using MAGA to get to where you wanted. And now that, like in Marjorie Taylor Greene's situation, she's only polling at 12%. She wants to run for governor of Georgia. She's probably not going to win. So she wants Donald Trump to endorse her and throw all of his weight behind her and all that stuff, and he's not doing it. She gets on these podcasts and she's, well, the cost of living is too high and this and that. But what you have to understand about politicians is that's really a lot of politicians' nature. When they find a narrative that they think is the new narrative or that is going to replace their current narrative, they just jump narratives. And she saw, like everybody else, that Zohran Mamdani won in New York on a message of affordability. Now, he don't know how he's going to make things more affordable, obviously, because he hasn't unveiled one plan, like one actual plan. He's just made a lot of proposals. But that resonated with the people of New York. That resonated with the people of New York, and they went out and they voted. So now you're going to see a lot of politicians start pivoting towards affordability. But if you really look at it, Donald Trump has always been talking about affordability. It just ain't going to happen overnight when you're coming from record high 14% inflation off the back of Biden. Listen, Biden had inflation as high as 14%. Y'all ain't even gave this man 14 months to get it down. Listen to me. Don't be that type of person. It ain't a lot of us in here. But we don't need a lot of us in here. Because we're going to go from getting game to giving it. Right? Nobody wants to hear this message. People just want to hear, yeah, you right. Yeah, you're totally valid in your ignorance. Stop worrying about Donald Trump and what Donald Trump gonna do and ain't gonna do. Donald Trump has told you what he's gonna do, and most of the times when he tells you what he's gonna do, he actually does it. So I don't have a reason not to think he'll do it in this case. But you need to worry about what you gonna do, because sitting up regurgitating Nick Fuentes ain't gonna help you. That's only gonna help Nick Fuentes. Sitting up regurgitating Marjorie Taylor Greene is not gonna help you. Sitting up regurgitating multi-billionaire husband having Candace Owens is not going to help you. Now, I'm not telling you guys to turn on these people or, hey, they're no good, they're lying. I'm not saying that. But you have to understand when somebody is saying something because it's advantageous for them. And you have to then discern whether or not that is advantageous for you. But let's not start talking about lies and dishonesty, because we just saw an administration where the lies and dishonesty, if it was a cup, it would have runneth over. It reminds me of a scripture in the Bible, and I'm not comparing Trump to Jesus or none of that stuff. I'm not doing that. But there was a point in the Bible where Jesus was speaking figuratively, right? And he told his followers that they would have to eat his flesh and drink his blood. Now, we know those things in our time to represent the food that people would partake of, the communion. That was the communion ceremony, right? But at the time, many people who were following Jesus, they really didn't understand what he meant by that, right? So when they heard him say that you would drink his blood and eat his flesh, they were like, ew, this is disgusting. They didn't understand what he meant. So they stopped following him. They walked away from him, right? And this is how many people are. If they don't understand something, they don't wait and see. They leave, right? And it's so crazy that when they left, sorry, I'm finding it right here. I want to read it for you right here. So it said, so when the people started walking away, it says that Jesus said in 65, John 6:65, it said, he went on to say, this is why I have said to you, no one can come to me unless it is granted him by the Father. Because of this, many of his disciples went off to the things behind and would no longer walk with him. So Jesus said to the 12, you do not want to go also, do you? Simon Peter answered him. He said, Lord, who shall we go away to? Because you have sayings of everlasting life. And if you're using your brain, you can make the connection. That's what I ask these people when they're talking, because I get bombarded. Oh, you be da. I say, okay, okay. Trump already done won the presidency. He ain't going nowhere for at least at least unless something happened, he's here for 3 more years. So you gonna turn against Trump, wait 3 years to get something done, and then when the 3 years is up, who you gonna vote for? Who you gonna work with? Because the mindless horde gonna say, yeah, they turned against Trump. That's gonna embolden them even more. And you're gonna see Kamala coming back. You're gonna see Gavin Newsom coming back. You're gonna see maybe Andrea Ocasio-Cortez running for president. Who are you gonna go away to? Because if it ain't on you, but it's actually in you, it's not about who's the president. It ain't about Donald Trump. Are you America first? Do you believe that your daughter should be in a bathroom with a grown-ass man with a fully intact penis dressed up in a dress and a wig? Do you want men coming and playing on your daughter's basketball team? Do you want the courts having more power over your kid to mutilate their genitalia than you have power over them to stop the courts from doing it? That's all I'm asking you. Because that's what's on the other side. That's what's on the other side. And my question is this: have you even done enough research to get mad? You don't even know about anything. You don't even know about most of the stuff that Donald Trump is talking about, but you're just pissed off. Oh, that ain't America first. How do you know? How do you know? But you don't take the time to go learn. You don't take the time to go do the research. You only take the time to react emotionally and then start condemning folks. I'm just never going to be that person. So if you want someone who's going to take it with a grain of salt, as they say, and is going to actually do the research and talk to the people who know, well, this is a channel for you. Because I was on the line earlier with someone who actually works for an immigration law firm, who handles people here working under HB1 visas. And I'm probably butchering it. Sorry. That's what he does, one of the largest firms in the country. And we had a discussion about it. And I learned a lot of things I didn't know. And then I sat in front of the computer and in front of the camera to talk to you about it. You listening to your friend who's hysterical, your reactionary buddy who's on every social media site all day and just getting headlines and taking them and bombarding you with a bunch of headlines about stuff that most of that stuff you don't even know what it's about. I got a friend, he just hates Israel, period. Unless Donald Trump declares war on Israel, he's just going to hate Donald Trump forever. I don't understand that. This guy ended like 10 wars within 10 months, but he's the bad guy. Well, if Donald Trump is the bad guy, point me to who the good guy is. You sitting at home playing Xbox? Please point me to the good guy. Because I don't think that there are any real good guys. I just think there are guys who benefit from the things that you benefit from. The whole thing is you have to take things with a grain of salt. You have to seek the deeper meaning and the deeper understanding of things. And once you do that, if you get pissed off and you get mad and you don't want to be a part of it, that's your right. All I would say is just don't vote for the other guys, man. Because they're literally telling you to your face, yes, we're going to sexualize your children. Yes, we're going to enable predators. Yes, we're going to make it illegal for you to fight the courts when it comes to us mutilating your kids' genitalia. They're telling you to your face. Yes, Joe Biden made Easter Sunday transgender day of awareness. Yes, they've done it. They've done it. So you gonna sit up and vote for somebody who already kicked you in the nuts versus someone who may or may not kick you in the nuts and maybe you could negotiate it? That doesn't even make sense to me. All these crazy, this and that. And I'm like, dude, chill the hell out. Every single day, we're learning more and more about the Epstein files. I just heard CNN admit that Trump is not even a person of like interest when it comes to the Epstein files. I didn't think I'd ever hear that, but I heard that today. And you better believe the journalists, the Democrats and the Republicans, they know everything that's in those files. You just don't know. You just don't know. But you're just looking for somebody to fight. You're a soldier looking for someone to fight. But the fight is not even over that you're fighting. But you're looking for another war. I don't know how you're going to live like that. You need to get to living your life instead of trying to prove how much more virtuous you are than the next person. Oh, and how much more holy and how much smarter you are than the next person. Live your life. I had an argument with one of my friends from high school today. And he was like, and we're going to talk about those Epstein files in a second too. I had a friend from high school and he was like, oh, these MAGA idiots, all this type of stuff, right? Usual stuff, right? And he's a Democrat supporter. And I say, and you know, I usually don't say anything when he didn't even post, he just makes his comments, but he always does it in kind of a rude way, like calling people who are MAGA dumb and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you know, I guess I had it. I guess I had it. So I just go and I clip all the headlines about the Democrats enabling PDF files, and I make them into a collage and I post it and I say, I just need this guy to explain to me why I should vote for these dudes who are enabling traffickers over Donald Trump and, you know, MAGA and the Republicans. The guy's response to me was, you're broke. You're broke. That's it. As a matter of fact, we could just go over. We got time. We ain't going nowhere. Let's go over it, right? So this guy right here, his name is Norman. Follow me on Defiant Brandon on Facebook. You know how we do it. So this guy's name is Norman, right? And I'm going to let you guys watch how this exchange went. This was 7 hours ago, so I didn't just do this for live streaming purposes, right? So this is me. So I say, Norman, you vote for a party that protects traffickers and PDF files, but MAGA is weird? Because that's what he said on another post. Then I tag my friend Jakari and I say, this man gonna explain one day why he hates Trump but loves PDF file defenders. All I want Norman to do is explain why it is better for me, a man with a 16-year-old daughter, to vote for those people blocking bills that will fight child trafficking in our state instead of the president and the party that is writing and proposing these bills. That is writing and proposing these bills. Kamala Harris released more PDF files than any AG in history. Why should I vote for that? Then I tagged my friend Tornado and was like, what do you think? Right? And right here, to just show my friend what I'm talking about, I post all the headlines. California Democrats block another attempt to ramp up penalties for solicitors of 16 and 17-year-olds. California bill to make purchasing child X a felony amended, and now it's been weakened. It weakens certain penalties because they finally were forced to pass it after the public got enraged at them. And then once they passed it, they went back and weakened it, right? California Democrats crushed by massive public backlash on child trafficking bill. Democrats reject proposal to make it a felony to buy a 16 or 17-year-old for you know what. Why California Assembly Democrats blocked a child trafficking bill. California Dems' crime problem is coming from inside the house, right? So look, he's saying MAGA is weird. MAGA is weird. I don't know. I'm like, wait a minute. So the Democrats doing all this in California where we live at, but you think MAGA's weird because they got a American flag and drive a truck in an F-150. They're weird. But the people who are not weird are the people who are making it easier for people to victimize our daughters who are teenagers. That's crazy. So, this guy in all his wisdom, right? He says, okay, here we go, I think. Okay, so in all his wisdom, he comes back and he responds to me right here. I'm trying to just get it lined up. Look what he says. You keep repeating traffickers and PDF files like a slogan, but you've never actually read a bill, looked up a voting record, or checked anything beyond whatever click pops up on your feed. You want to talk about protecting kids? F a bill. Majority of ex-traffickers that's getting caught and exposed are rich Republicans. I don't care what. First of all, how do you even know what a person's political affiliation is when they get caught for that? Second of all, I couldn't give a crap if they're Republican or Democrat. They need to be caught. Kamala Harris released more PDF files than any AG in history. That's an easy Google search, dummy. You heard that in a meme, not from a courtroom, a report, or a piece of legislation. Get out of your living room, off that mic, and get some real knowledge. You mad at the wrong things. So I guess being mad at people protecting pedophiles is the wrong things. You're mad at the wrong things because you don't understand how laws, state jurisdiction, sentencing guidelines, or federal authority even work in the first place. That's why your argument is all emotion and zero information. On some real ish, you really need some educated friends in your circle. MAGA isn't fighting trafficking. They're fighting culture wars online while the real world gets done quietly by people you never vote for. So before you accuse anyone of loving pedophile defenders, at least bring one real verifiable fact to the table, not in another recycled Facebook headline. Because you do all this broke nigga posting and podcasting. They running for mayor next year in LB. Since you're all about change and voice your opinion, who shouldn't be in charge? Take your ass out there and do something. So all that to say, you voted Democrat. That's what that means. I voted Democrat. I'm going to operate in cognitive dissonance and ignorance. I don't want to have the real conversation that you want to have. So I'm going to try to shame you for being broke. I'm going to try to tell you, you ain't outside. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, if I don't know what I'm talking about, how did I pull up all those articles? He said I got everything from a Facebook headline. But I've been talking about this stuff, this particular California thing, for like almost 2 years now on YouTube. but this is the nature of liberals. They know everything. They know what everybody know. They know how much money everybody got. And they know that nobody is able to make decisions for themselves. So then we need to hand that power over to the politicians to do it. So, I had to respond. I said, so basically, you have no real response to the facts I've presented. Got it. If someone posts on the internet they broke Jakari, gave him an opportunity to prove me wrong. All he did was call me broke, but calls me uneducated. I rest my case. The man says, what facts did you present that proved facts? When you mentioned me hating Trump, that's different than me not respecting the Republic. None of this has to do with anything. None of this has to do with anything. Literally, we're talking about the trafficking. Let's talk about the trafficking. But it's always about everything else other than what's important. So I just wanted to let you guys see kind of what we're dealing with. You're dealing with people. Okay, so we're going to go. Trump says something we don't like. So instead of engaging in politics and talking about the policy battle, right, we're going to hand the country over to dudes like him who could vote for people who defend pedophiles and just act like they don't remember doing it. And we all got those Democrat friends. They voted on it and support them. And then when you say, hey, you voted for that? Oh, I didn't know. I got a friend who said he voted Democrat just so his wife wouldn't be mad at him. I said, so your wife being mad at you is more important than protecting your babies. But that's where we are. That's where we are mentally in this country, a certain number of, too many of us. I'm going to put my daughters and sons in danger of getting trafficked or abducted by some creep because I don't want my wife to get mad. And you know what happens when your kid gets abducted? Your wife going to look at you and say, why you didn't protect us? This is the way it is. America first in the building. What up?
Hey, what's up, Brandon? So what do you think about Nick Fuentes, his politics? Do you support him? You hate him? I never really heard you talk about him.
Do I hate or support Nick Fuentes? I think Nick Fuentes is like everybody else on the internet. Some things he says make sense, some things he says don't. As far as his politics, I mean, I think he voted for Trump. So, I mean, I support that. But beyond that, I really don't. I feel like Nick Fuentes is like a rage baiter. He wants to say the N-word or get people all pissed off and stuff, but that type of stuff don't work on me. I lived around real racists. I know what real racists are and what that really means.
Cool. Yeah, he seems to be a future of the Republican Party.
He seems to be the future of the Republican Party. How so? Is he an elected official?
I mean, he has a huge following, like 50,000 live viewers every single day for a couple hours a day.
Social media doesn't mean anything, bro. There are people with millions who have millions of followers who have ran for office, didn't even get 2% of the vote in a city election.
It's just his influence, his idea, especially the Israel situation. I think that's going to really turn the Republican Party more on his favor.
I think that when you look at the people watching these people's show, these are people who are scattered across the country and really around the world. So in order to get elected in politics, you have to have a cohesive base in one area. That's why social media fame doesn't really translate over to political efficacy, right? Because it's too dispersed. You could find you got the racists in there. You got people who are watching just to hate watch him. You got people who are watching because they think he's funny. You got people who are watching so they can run and go, oh, did you see what he said? So there's a lot of people made up in that group that's watching him on a day-to-day basis. And he has to keep them employed. I mean, he has to keep them entertained.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to hear your opinion on that. Thanks.
What do you think about the Israel situation?
I mean, I think, you know, we
Doesn't
gotta
really
be
affect
honest.
you, does it?
No, it doesn't. But we gotta be honest. Like, we do help out that country a little too much, don't
We
you
help
think?
out way too many countries too much.
No, but that country specifically
We giving Egypt a bunch of money,
because of Israel.
whichever one. So we need to
No,
stop
but
all the money giving.
I
Right?
agree. I agree. But we give Jordan and Egypt a lot of money because of Israel.
Okay, so let's work at stopping that.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Let's debate it. Let's talk about it. Let's go through the process that has been set up. The reality is we just live in this world that's drunk off of instant gratification, and we want everything right now. And that's not how anything works. That's why people, that's why people on these social media sites for the dopamine hit. That's why more people watch shorts than long form content. They just want the quick hit. Oh man, that made me feel smart. That made me feel revolutionary. That made me feel brave. That made me feel horny. They just want it quick. And it's like, that's not the way the world's going to work. So we go and we talk about it. And midterm elections are coming. Now's the time to start negotiating. Hey, we want a budget with way less money going to Israel. But I promise you, Democrat or Republican, you're getting that money getting sent to Israel. And I honestly don't think, and also, let me tell you this, they have Biden in there. Biden wouldn't even stand up to Israel on stopping the situation at the Gaza Strip. He was just letting it happen. At least Trump stood up to them and got the ceasefire done. Could you give Trump credit on that?
No, yeah.
Because Biden was just like, I don't know. He didn't want to say anything. Even Kamala Harris didn't want to say anything about it.
It's both parties.
Exactly. So Trump this and that. I'm like, bro, it's both parties. So you better start negotiating. Because they both doing the same thing. But
Brandon,
thank you so much. What's up?
One last question. So what's up? You're gonna go back to no jumper or what?
What happened?
You're gonna go back to no jumper or what?
I'm supposed to be up there next week.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit, full time or just once?
I don't really know. All I know is I'm getting paid what I asked for.
Oh shit! Damn, Adam finally. No, it makes sense though, because I mean, the show's struggling. Like, it makes sense. Your clips will go up and shit.
Hey, the fucking mailman was like, "Hey, you going back up to no jumper?" I said, "Dude, you watch that shit?" Like, bro, I watch all your video. I'm like, what? Here I am, because when I'm like talking about my crap, he's like delivering the mail. So I'm like talking about the immigration stuff and all that. So I thought bro hated me because he's Hispanic. Bro was like, I watch all your stuff. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I thought he just was pissed. Like, hey, this motherfucker talking shit, but nah,
he's gonna steal your mail.
Hey, that's what's up. Steal them bills and pay him.
That's cool though. I'll be watching.
All right, man, for sure. Peace. KJ, what up?
How's it going, bro?
Man, it's going good.
All right, for sure. So first of all, I look at the Israel situation way different. Like, I look at Israel as a information arm of America, like in the Middle East.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Like, America pays Israel. Like, isn't America responsible for Israel even having the defense system that it has?
Yes, America pays Israel to be a watchdog over the Middle East.
Exactly. So, and people are so like retarded that they hop on. They hop on here. Yeah, they hop on here and they act and they say, first they were mad. Trump is destroying our relationship with all of our allies. He's ruining our relationship with our allies. And then the ally that we do have and Trump stays in business with them. Trump is great with Israel. Like, do y'all want us to have allies or not?
Yeah, it's just the goalpost is constantly moving.
Exactly. And Trump hasn't even been in office for a whole year yet. His policies haven't even went into effect from the big beautiful bill, and people are like, "Why hasn't he changed the economy?" Like, people think that politics are a microwave. They're not. The politics is a stove.
And what's so funny is, as we watch that the Obamacare subsidies are just now expiring, when they were passed at the beginning of the year last year, they're just now expiring. Those were put in place under Biden.
Exactly. And then on top of that fact, they keep saying that your healthcare premiums are going to skyrocket. I thought that was supposed to make it cheaper. Like, what happened? You feel me? And then they say, like that's what just pisses me off about people in politics.
Here's the thing too. Most of us get our health care through our job anyway. So
exactly.
You're already locked in. The numbers are locked in already. So how are your health care premiums going to skyrocket when they've just been locked in for a whole year next year?
On facts. And then on top of that, they were saying the same thing during the last continuing resolution. They were saying your healthcare premiums are going to skyrocket. The seniors are not going to get their Medicaid. Veterans are not going to get their healthcare benefits. They were saying the same thing. It didn't happen. And then Democrats do the shutdown. And then all of a sudden that starts happening and everybody blames Trump. Like, what are y'all talking? It's like people are just retarded in this whole politic game. And they, and honestly, even with the Epstein file thing, like people are not outraged about something until the mainstream liberal media says it.
Right. But the funny thing is it goes one way, right?
Only one way. Exactly.
Yeah, the mainstream liberal media can rile them up, but the mainstream liberal media can't calm them down. Right.
Exactly. And it's just, yeah, no, I heard what you're saying. Exactly. It's like people don't even know why they be mad and stuff. Like they're complaining about Israel and stuff, but people don't realize if we didn't have, let's just say America drops out on Israel, we stop supporting them and everything. Dude, I don't think people realize how fast the extreme Muslim practices would take over.
They don't know anything. Like
Muslim,
they've never been to the Middle East, bro. I've been to the Middle East 3 times. They don't understand that there's some bad people out in the world. They think open borders make sense.
Exactly. They live in a fairy tale land. Like people don't even understand that in like these Muslim countries, they just made it legal, I believe earlier this year to the legal age to marry a girl is actually 9 years old now.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't like people, but people over here sound like free Palestine. Like people actually just don't know what's going on. Like motherfuckers are not politically inept. They are more just conspiracy theorists. Like everything is a conspiracy theory now. You know what I mean?
Everything is, oh, I heard this, I saw this meme, whatever. And it's just like, if you're a person who's not like that, you're the enemy because you're messing up the fantasy, right? Let me stay locked in. And then what's funny is when they're wrong about something, right? And you prove them wrong,
move the goalpost.
Move the goalpost, or like, oh man, yeah, but you know, like I was talking to this lady in a restaurant, and man, she was just so gone. I said, tell me 3 things that Trump has done. Well, Trump deported American citizens. I said, okay, where can I find that? She, oh, you could just Google it. I said, can you Google it for me? We sat there for 10 minutes while she tried to find it. We knew it wasn't true. Everything she told me was a lie. And I asked her to Google it and show me, and she couldn't. But
exactly.
This is just where they are.
Right. Kids are getting zip tied.
right. And even if were they black kids? Because they were trying to make it seem like they were black kids.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Like this whole political thing, it's just like Joe Biden ruined the economy. Inflation got as high as 10%. And now they're complaining about the economy. And these are the same people that were about to vote Kamala Harris into office. It's like, bro, like you don't even know what's good for you.
Look, they were about to vote they were about to vote in Kamala Harris with no plan at all.
They couldn't tell you no policy she had.
They couldn't tell you anything. I want to play this real quick because this is where CNN just admitted today that Trump has no connection to the Epstein stuff. But guess what? Like I said, CNN is credible if CNN is saying what they want to hear. But if CNN says what they don't want to hear, they're going to say, they getting paid to cover it up and all this stuff.
Exactly.
CNN been bashing the hell out of Trump for months, for years.
Now CNN is a right-wing news platform.
Yeah. Okay, let's play this.
President, and we do want to be clear, the president, Trump, did not receive or send any of the messages, which largely predated his time as president. He's not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing in connection with Epstein or Maxwell. The White House that mentioned
he has nothing to do with the emails, but you know, in people's minds, right?
Release the files.
Look. So this person, hey, Them Kids podcast. I'm giving you the link to come up. So don't believe the emails. Listen, Them Kids podcast. You can come up here. We can go to wherever you want on the internet, and you could show me where the emails are incriminating Trump. And I will, from this moment forward, I won't vote Republican for the rest of my life. I'm a man of my word.
So we can expect not to see him hit the link.
He's not hitting the link. He's not. Look, so don't believe the email. You mean the emails that the people who didn't read the emails, who given the information to CNN are telling you don't got nothing to do with Trump? They are at the point. Listen, this is the only thing that this is the only way Trump is connected to any of this. They're saying that Trump may have witnessed someone else do an illegal assault to a lady and didn't report it. So now you getting condemned because you might have been around when it was going on, but didn't say nothing.
Right. And forget the fact that Trump cut off associating with him when he found out who he was. Forget the fact that Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. Forget the fact that Trump cooperated with the police. He went to the police and sat down and told him what this guy was doing. Forget all that stuff.
That means nothing. But that's what we do in this world. We punish people for doing the right thing after the fact. The people, the men who died on D-Day, who stormed the beaches of Normandy and got shot up in Swiss cheese by German bullets. Oh, they're all colonizers and white supremacists now.
Right.
But like what they did made it possible for you to be where you are today. That's what we do. We love to posthumously judge the people. We want to, not posthumously, but we want to just, from like a,
what a
retroactively judge shit. I hate that kind of crap.
Right, like that time was a different time. We live in a new time. Like, stop trying to compare us to slavery. Like, stop trying to compare us to Germany, not Nazi Germany. Like, these people are retarded. Like, you know what I mean? Honestly, that's what it is. Like, people are actually retarded, and we need stricter restrictions on voting. In my opinion, we need people like you should have to take a test to vote. Like, you should have to, like, honestly, like, you should have to qualify. You should have to know history. You should know socialism. You should have to know things in order to vote. Like, people are just like slow.
Look. So this is what I'm telling you. Shaking my head. I used to like you, Brandon. Lost now. Full-fledged contrarian. Did I or did I not just invite this man up to show us the information he got?
Right. And now you're a contrarian because you're saying something that disagrees with him.
Yeah. I'm inviting him to come up and show me the information he got to the whole audience. So if he has a message, right? So if he has a message, he could share it with everybody, right? He won't.
We're uninformed. Come inform us, please.
He won't do it. And that's what I'm telling you. The internet is full of people like this.
Hypocrites.
The internet is full of people like this. They know everything, but when you ask them, they know nothing. And I know that, so I don't give it much credence. I've done my research. If you know something that I don't know, you're welcome to click that link and come up and share. But any final thoughts, KJ?
Nah, but like, yeah, even the Obamacare thing, like, people are even saying stuff like, the Republicans have gutted Obamacare, and I'll be like, what part? They'd be like, certain parts of it, they chipping away at it. I'll be like, what part? Do they chip away? What part do they can't tell me nothing. Like, these people, they just don't know what's going on. They don't read. They don't watch the hearings. They don't, like, people are just uninformed, and they are more conspiracy theorists, especially in the Black community. Like, but yeah, that's just what I want to say.
Right, but can't get the creepy uncle about the family though. But they fighting sex trafficking.
Right.
Hey, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you coming out. Hey, they won't head over to Figueroa Street, but they won't fight sex trafficking on the main street 3 miles away from their house. But they're gonna go all the way to Epstein Island and fight sex trafficking. Go. You got it. Yo, what's up? Come out fighting. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Brandon? Long time no talk. Thanks for having me on your show.
It's been a while.
I just want to talk about that guy, KJ. He was talking about Israel and how they're an ally. And I just wanted to express the importance of him understanding that Israel has never been an ally to the United States. What he did say was that, like, they're information for the United States and they're basically an attack dog. That does not make them an ally. Israel is a terrorist organization, and it has been since its inception. I don't know if you know, back in 1945, before they became go ahead.
Wait. The United States has them listed as an ally. That's just the end
that I know, but I'm going to prove something to you.
Okay, but hold off on the terrorist organization, all that stuff, because none of that stuff is like that. That stuff is not like proven, but you can prove it now. But just you know what I'm saying. But go ahead.
Okay, back in 1945, when Israel was promised to be a state, the Jews that are European they were converted to Judaism, and when they were in Palestine, they were pushing British because they were the global power at the time to become a state. They were promised in the World War I, but it wasn't until World War II where it was slowly going to happen. They were doing terrorist bombings with the British official. They even sent letter bombs to the United States, and that was intercepted in the White House in 1947. And around 1947, they also bombed David's Palace, which was a British official. They killed 81 people. And British was like, you know what, we're done. It wasn't like the British gave them Israel because they wanted to fulfill this biblical fantasy. They got tired of all the bombings that the Jews were doing to the British officials at the time. Ever since they became a state in 1948, they just continually attacked the United States. In 1967, they attacked the USS Liberty off Egypt, the waters there, and the United States covered it up. The United States had a coding book where all the codes that the United States had cracked and couldn't crack, they gave it to Israel. Israel wound up selling it to the Russians. Okay. Oh, wow. Then you had, and the United States doesn't learn their lesson. The United States had a bomber, a classified bomber that was designed specifically for Israel. Israel doesn't sell it to Russia. They sell it to China. China now has that in their fleet. There's countless times where Israel has backstabbed the United States over and over again. The Lebanon bombing, the Beirut bombing, Israel had knowledge of that and didn't pass it on to the United States because it helps Israel to get the United States into their fights. Yeah. Yes, the United States funds Israel, but it's basically just to attack these other countries. So I'm not one of these that says Israel is an ally, because Israel has proven time and time again that the only thing they're concerned about are European Jews. That's it.
And you know what? One of the things I like about the left, they're getting rid of a lot of this like sacred cowism stuff towards Israel. Like, you can't talk about them. I do like that aspect of the woke movement because it's tearing down, is breaking through all the like red tape and the barriers when it's like, why is one group of people, you can't never say nothing about them, but you could talk about everybody else type thing. So I do like the fact that these woke kids, they just don't give a damn. They don't care about getting canceled or banned or none of that. They just, because even what Candace Owens said about Israel being the poison pill, whatever, you couldn't say that 2 years ago on YouTube or any social media platform. Your channel would have gotten nuked. But once society decides they're no longer going to play, along with that, it has to go away. And I feel like that it's really going away now. 37% of all Jewish people in New York voted for Zohran Mamdani, right? So that's saying something. Even the Jewish people are getting sick of it. So hey, let's see what happens. Thank you, my brother, for coming up. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
L.A. Thorne, my brother from another mother. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, Brandon? I just want to bring up one thing that the left is blatantly ignoring and just doesn't really accept. The person that was redacted in that email that they're saying, like, oh, Trump is, spent like all these hours with this victim. I'm like, yeah, the victim was Virginia Roberts Giuffre, a woman who was pretty much single-handedly responsible for having Ghislaine Maxwell in fucking prison right now.
Right.
Who exonerated him in sworn testimony. So it's like, the Democrats are like, like we got Trump dead to rights. It's like, no, like you're using someone's sworn testimony. Like if you were you've been to court,
like you testify in court saying like, hey, like whatever I say is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you commit perjury, you can go to jail.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you're a Democrat in front of testifying in front of Congress, and then jack shit that happens to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Look at
the thing is,
look at Christopher Wray and shit.
The victim is the victim. She worked at Mar-a-Lago, Gouffre, and Epstein took her from Mar-a-Lago to his island to work there. I believe that's what they said. So Donald Trump ain't touched her all those years before, but he went to an island to go mess with her. It's stupid. Like there's so much like ignorance in this whole thing, but that's why even the social media, the mainstream media channels, they're having to come out and like in no uncertain terms say, hey, this really don't got nothing to do with Trump. We're just speculating, because that's what they love to do. They like to fudge the number. They like fudge the lines. They blur the lines, and people just, you hungry, you gonna jump on it. It's like a monkey trap, right? You know the monkey trap.
Yeah.
The monkey sticks his hand in to grab something. He won't let go whatever he's grabbed, so he can't get out. That's these people on the internet. They become trapped in these like narratives because they refuse to just like, hey, you have to just accept that this part is not true. And once you accept that this is not true, that frees you from like the burden of like continuously trying to like carry on that narrative. It's really crazy.
And here's another thing. Trump has been, screwing around with fucking porn stars. You know what I'm saying? Like, Stormy Daniels. Like, you seriously think that a motherfucker who's fucking porn stars, who's banging porn stars, is gonna fuck around with a little kid?
I mean,
come on now.
Trump, he knows what he likes. I've never heard anything with any kids or anything. I just know he likes like hot chicks, models, porn stars, etc. So, I mean, there's nothing illegal about that. So, I mean, people judge, but I don't think they judge like righteously. They just judge based on how much they don't like you. And that's like the same thing that happened in the Diddy situation. It was so much hatred for him. People made things true that weren't true. Then when it was like, well, he didn't do these things. Well, he beat up Cassie in the hallway. Yeah, but that's not what he's on trial for. They don't care. It's like a witch hunt, man. It's a witch. It's the crucible all over again. Any final thoughts, my brother?
My final thoughts is that, they had this since, 2011, 2001, or longer than that, around thereabouts. They had that shit for a minute.
Right.
Epstein files, everything.
Right.
If, like, during the trial of both Epstein and freaking Ghislaine Maxwell, you would think that if Trump was a prominent figure in anything that they were involved in, he would have been called up like, hey, Mr. Trump, testify to say like, hey, were you involved in this or not? And nothing happened.
Yeah.
So it's not like Trump was freaking not capable of testifying, because he would have shown up to court. He showed up to the court for those trumped up charges and shit.
No pun intended.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but hey man, listen. I'm not gonna let myself be like imprisoned or like burdened with like this idea that I have to keep pushing stuff that just is not true to make a certain group of people feel happy. Because what these people do is they make everybody's life miserable. They annoy you to death. And then when they find out that what they thought was true ain't, they just move on to the next conspiracy. I have a friend like that. Everything is the Jews and this and that. And it's like, dude, like, calm the hell down. Like, like it has to be difficult to live like that. But some people are just very reactionary. And like I said, it's the mental monkey trap. Hey, I coined that term, L.A. Thorne. You heard it from me first. The mental monkey trap, where you get a hold of some information and it could be a lie, but you won't let go of it. You won't let go of it, so it traps you and imprisons you. And it's sad. The anti-Semitic people. Listen, I ain't no Israel kiss ass. I don't really even care about Israel at all. But at the same time, I don't think that oh, this one group of people got a shadowy plot to like do this and do that. Like, come on, bro. If they were controlling the United States, like my boy Obstacles to Opportunity said, they would be here and we would be over there. They were like, all right, y'all all go to the desert and we gonna come to the nice shit. These people are just, they're getting what they can by basically kissing the ass of who's ever in charge. That's it. They're literally just, look, my grandpa used to tell me compliments will get you everywhere. Netanyahu kissed the booty of every American president. Why? Because that's how you get what you want.
I mean, there's certain, like, here's the thing, like, when you have like a military like we do, we have a certain amount of leverage that we can leverage all across, certain fields, you know what I'm saying? And while we may not have while another country may not have the same capability, you know what I'm saying? They come in saying like, hey, I know that I'm not as strong as you, but I have something that you want,
right,
and you have something that I want, so we can negotiate, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how everything is with politics. You know what I'm saying? Like, Russia can say like, hey, I have more oil than you, and you're a country and say like, in Africa, it's like, look, I got oil. You need oil for your industrial sector. I'm willing to sell it to you, for a certain price, and and you have minerals that I don't have. A free exchange of goods. That's how capitalism works.
That's how it works.
Yep.
Or even intelligence, all that. Like, do people ever think like maybe we just ally with Israel because they're like the least radicalized country in the Middle East? Like, that's probably why they're your ally, because it's like they the least crazy.
I mean, radicalism is subjective, because you can be radicalized in one way and not the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be.
What I mean is they're not radicalized against us.
Right.
Because if you look at that, like was it the 13 Days War? Was that what it was called? The 13 Days War?
It was a 6-day war.
6-day war. Okay. So like if you look at the 6-day war, right? Where all those countries in the Middle East came up against Israel, right? Bro, any of those countries could have been the proxy of the United States over there. But instead of saying, hey, let's get down with the USA, they wanted to go after Israel, right? And then now, come full circle, Egypt, Jordan, all these countries, Saudi Arabia, they all in bed with the United States and Israel now.
And I also want to give Trump, credit to his negotiating skills with actually getting a lot of these Arab countries to actually.
Hold on, this comment right here shows you people don't listen. Netanyahu is a sadistic monster. Are y'all okay? Did we say anything about the morality of Netanyahu? I said he kisses every American president's ass. Didn't say he was a virtuous, good guy who's amazing. I didn't say none of that. You just heard what you want to hear, whitewashed. You heard what you wanted to hear. I don't give a damn if he was Barney dressed up in a purple suit, but you can't just listen to what someone say and then hear what you want to hear. No one said anything virtuous or good about Benjamin Netanyahu. We just said a truth. He kisses every American president's ass.
I think that's most freaking diplomats anyway, because and here's another thing, like with some people were saying like, oh, like we gave $40 billion to Argentina. It's like, yeah, we also got 40 billion. What we did with Argentina is a currency swap. We gave 40 billion of our dollars, and they gave us 40 billion of their pesos. We actually made money. We actually made money off of that exchange, because now the peso is worth more than when because of those dollars that we gave them. You know what I'm saying? And people are saying like, oh, we bailed out Argentina, but we can't give money to those are like, no, we fucking made money. Like this is one of the few presidents, if the only president I can remember, that when he does deals, we actually benefit from. His fucking deals. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
But people don't look at that. You know what I'm saying? And people follow like Robert Reich, who's a former U.S. Labor Secretary. And I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be the former Labor Secretary, but you're saying like we bailed out freaking Argentina when you can't even tell the truth about the actual freaking exchange. You know what I'm saying?
And then like
Right.
most of the money came from like private investment and all that. I think all of it did. So like, but they don't want to. People don't want to know the facts. I got somebody melting down over Benjamin Netanyahu in my comments. Like we're over here having a bar mitzvah for the dude. Who cares about him? He's living whitewash. He's living rent free in your mind, and you need to stop that. Like he's a bully. He controls the United States. That's why he had to beg the United States to blow up a bunker in Iran. If he controlled it, he would have just did it. As a matter of fact, if he controls the LA Throne, let me ask you a question. If he controls the United States, why is it that the United States has technology that Netanyahu doesn't have or can't get access to?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, why haven't we freaking just sent that atomic bomb to Tehran and say like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Hey,
You know?
or this right here. Netanyahu wanted to keep bombing Gaza Strip, but he's not doing it right now because the United States told him to stop. But if he's controlling the United States, how could the United States tell him to stop? Why aren't they still bombing over there? See, you got to ask yourself, you have to question your own reasoning sometimes, right? It's like your mom. Everybody think their mom know everything. But as they get older, they're like, mama don't know everything. The old girl got a couple of blind spots, right? Netanyahu controls the United States, but yet Netanyahu wants to continue to bomb Gaza, but he can't because the United States told him stop doing it. But he's running the United States. It's ignorant.
And it would make and here's the thing, like it would make Netanyahu look bad because it would look like he reneged on that freaking peace deal with Hamas, because Hamas gave over the bodies and also the remaining survivors of the remaining hostages over to the West and Israel. And for Netanyahu to just go like, okay, we got our hostages, now we're just going to start bombing you again. It's like, it will actually radicalize more people on the opposite side, saying like, why should I trust these guys when after I give them what they want, they go back and freaking stab me in the back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it don't make no sense.
Yeah, a lot of stuff doesn't make no sense. But thank you so much for coming up, my brother. I appreciate you as usual. So guys, hey, I think we're gonna do a live stream tomorrow. T Lee, my girl. Shout out to you for the Cash App contribution. T Lee, it's been a minute. I haven't seen you in a while. Dang. Okay, so I'm getting some of my old people back. I'm getting some of my old political family back, and that was the goal, right? Wait, am I wrong? Tell them not to forget to donate. Oh yeah, hey, contribute on the Cash App if you can, if you're in a position to do so. My girl T Lee already did. She know the drill. Thank you so much, my sister. I appreciate that. Much love to her. Good to see her. See she's doing well. Yeah. So I ain't never. Hey, were you here? Were you really here? Wait. At KP23. Wait. Okay, so you be having someone send it to me? Wait a minute. KP23. Okay. You was never going. You just don't be commenting at all. Okay. Now we know. Now we know the truth. She's in the building. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, a lot of people have left this channel. A lot of people are not watching this channel anymore, and I'm okay with it. I'm trying to run away from that no jumper audience. So I'm just like, if I keep talking about stuff that they don't care about, they'll all clear out, and then it'll just be political stuff going forward. Funny. Last time I was on, I got an argument. But hey, thank all y'all for watching this. I hope I was able to answer some questions that you might have. And some people were straddling the fence on some things. I hope I gave you some information that'll help you make a decision based on whatever's right and whatever's best for you. Appreciate everything you do for this channel. Until the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.